Okay, so the next section, what we're going to talk about is 2-4, and 2-4 is parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay, we're going to divide this into two different sections. I'm going to talk about parallel lines today, or video 1, perpendicular lines, video 2, and then we're going to review in video 3. So, what are parallel and perpendicular lines? First of all, before I move on, parallel lines are lines with the same slope that never ever touch. They go on and on forever. They never intersect. They're also, we denote them as two lines beside each other. So if you ever see this sign, that just means parallel. Perpendicular lines are lines whose slopes are negative reciprocals. Well, what is a negative reciprocal? Well, if I have this number 2, the negative reciprocal is negative 1/2. I'm just going to take the numerator, make it the denominator, and denominator, make it the numerator, and flip-flop them around. Okay? For example, if I have negative 1/3, the negative reciprocal would be the opposite of negative, which is positive, and then I'm going to put the 3 on the top and the 1 on the bottom, which is 3/1 or 3. We'll talk more about that in video 2. So slope. If I have a line whose slope is 5, a line that's parallel to it is also going to have a slope of 5. If I have a line whose slope is 2/3, the line parallel is also going to be 2/3. If I have a slope of negative 2/7, a parallel line slope is also going to be negative 2/7. So how do we find the equations to parallel and perpendicular lines? And that's what we're going to do. Given an equation and a point, how do we find a line that is parallel to that line? These are the steps. If you struggle with these, I would take a second, pause, and write these steps down, because these steps will be very, very helpful. It's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, and when you write the steps down as I do the problem, follow along with me. That way, when you do them on your own, you'll be fine. Okay, find the equation of a line that is parallel to the line y equals 6x minus 2 through the point 1, negative 3. Then graph both lines. So I need to write the equation of a line that's parallel to this line, but goes through this point. Okay? So let's do that. First step, I have to make sure that my first equation is solved for y. Well, this one is solved for y already, so we don't have to do that. So we have y equals 6x minus 2. What is the slope of that line? The slope of the first line is 6, which we can tell, or we know, that if a line is parallel to it, it has to have the slope of 6. So we could say the parallel slope is also going to be 6. Okay? But what is the equation of a line with the slope of 6 that goes through the point 1, negative 3? Well, how do I do that? And we've done this already. You just have to put 2 and 2 together. So I have y equals mx plus b. I'm going to take the 6, the parallel slope, and plug it in for m. And then I'm going to take the point that's on that line, which is this one, and take x and y, and I want to plug them in for x and y here. So that means I have negative 3 equals 6 times 1 plus b, and now I'm going to solve this for b. So I have 6 equals negative 3 plus b, subtract 6, negative 9 equals b. So the equation of the second line, the first line is y equals 6x minus 2. The equation of the second line is going to be y equals, and since it's parallel, it's got to have the slope of 6, 6x minus 9. Now let's go ahead and graph both of these lines and see if it works out. So I'm going to take my first equation, y equals 6x minus 2, and I have y equals 6x minus 9 for my second equation. Go back to single page so you can see it. To graph this first line, I need to start at 0, negative 2, which is my y-intercept, 0, negative 2, and my slope is 6, which means 6 over 1. I'm going to go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1, and then draw a line between those 2 points. Which looks something like that. And then my second line, I'm going to start at 0, negative 9, and I have a slope of 6 over 1. So 0, negative 9 is down here, a slope of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1, and I can keep going if I want, but I'm going to stop there. connect the dots. And I have my parallel lines. Now, does it go through the point that we were looking for? Go through the point 1, -3? Well, let's look. 1, 1, 2, 3. Yes, it does. Right there's my point 1, -3. So I made a line parallel to this one that goes through the point 1, -3. And it works out. So let's do that a couple more times, a couple more examples, and then you'll be able to do them on your own. Given the line 4x plus 2y equals 7 and the point 4, -2, find the line parallel to it. Okay, so step 1, I have to solve that for y so that I know what the slope is. Right now, looking at this, I can't tell what the slope is. So I have 4x plus 2y equals 7. I'm going to subtract 4x, which we did this in the last section. You just took a quiz over that. 2y equals -4x plus 7, divide by 2. So I have y equals -2x plus 7 over 2. The slope of this line is now, we can see, -2. So we have slope of -2, meaning the parallel slope is also going to be -2. So for my new equation, I'm going to use -2 as my slope. So I have y equals mx plus b for my new equation. I'm going to take my -2 for my slope. Take my point that it goes through, x and y. I have -2 equals -2 times 4 plus b. -2 equals -8 plus b. I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So I have 6 equals b. So the equation of my new line has slope -2 and y-intercept of 6. So it's y equals -2x plus 6. There's the equations of both my lines. Here's one line and here's two lines, and since they have the same slope but different y-intercepts, they will be parallel. So let's graph both of these. So I have -2x plus 7 over 2 and -2x plus 6. I'm going to dual page so I can see while I write. So I have y equals -2x plus 7 over 2, and I have y equals -2x plus 6. All right. So to graph the first line, I'm going to start at 0, 7 over 2, which 7 divided by 2 is just 3.5. So I'm going to go up 0, 3.5, 1, 2, 3.5 right here. And my slope is -2 or -2 over 1. So I'm going to go down 2. So I have 1, 2 over 1, down 2, 1, 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. So here I have 1, 2, 3 points. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go ahead and connect those. There's the first one. Looks something like that. And now let's go ahead and graph the second one. So I start at 0, 6, my y-intercept right here, and my slope again is -2 or -2 over 1. So 0, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is here. My slope is -2, so I'm going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, and there is my line. And they are parallel, which is exactly what we want. Let's go through, let's look and make sure it goes through that point. 4, -2, if I have 4, -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, look at that. Oops. It goes right through that point that we were given. That's 4, -2. We did it algebraically, we graphed it, and it worked out perfectly, which is what we want. So let's do another one. And then I'll let you guys try this on your own. Find the equation of a line that goes through the point 1, 6 and is parallel to the line x equals 4. Now this is a tricky question because you have to know what this line looks like. X equals 4. That line has slope that is undefined. Slope that's undefined is what kind of line? You're right, it is a vertical line. So x equals 4, that goes through the point 1, 6. So if I look at this, x equals 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's going to be a line that looks like this. I'll just sketch the line. So I need a line that's parallel to that line, but goes through the point 1, 6. Well, where is 1, 6? 1, 6. go over 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if it has to be that line and parallel to that line means they both have to have undefined slope. So I have another vertical line that goes through the point 1, 6. What is the equation of that line? Well, if it has undefined slope and it goes through the point 1, 6, the equation is x equals 1. Now let's look at another one. Find the equation of a line that goes through the point 1, 6 and is parallel to the line y equals 4. So now we have y equals 4. So the slope of a line y equals 4 is 0. Remember, slope with lines with 0 slope are just horizontal lines, meaning the parallel slope also has to be 0, or a horizontal line that goes through the point 1, 6. So, what was my first? Y equals 4. So let's look at that. I'll make it a different color so we can tell. Y equals 4 is going to be horizontal. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is my y equals 4. And I want to go through that same point 1, 6, but I want it to be parallel to this line here. So that means it has to be another horizontal line. But what is the equation of that line? Well, y equals 6. So if you're given a horizontal and vertical line, it's simple. You just got to think through it. Okay? Let's make sure. And then we will talk about perpendicular lines in the next video. But there's parallel.